Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Jignesh Garu. Today we are going to do, as discussed, material handling and storage of materials with respect to mechanical handling. Yesterday we have completed the manual handling. Today we are going to take this manual handling, mechanical handling. See, in this 2.3.2 mechanical handling, lifting machinery, lifts, hoists, safety aspects in design and construction, testing, use and care, signaling, inspection and maintenance. Because during the design and construction steps itself, the manufacturer has to take the initiations for all the safety aspects, including the signaling, inspections, all emergency switches and all provided to be provided. And before purchasing by the organization, they have to see all these things taken into consideration. Next is safety in design and construction, operation, inspection, and maintenance of industrial trucks, lifting tackles, and you loose gears, conveyors, and all. That is also we'll discuss in the coming slides. And also the safety features, safe locations, because we have to locate the lifting machinery or the lifts or hoist in a safe location in the organization. You have to see the surrounding conditions also, and testing facilities, inspection facilities, the maintenance of the lifting tackles, safe working load. It's very important. SWL, safe working load for all mechanical materials and equipment. We'll discuss all these things in the coming slides. The competent person also, as per the Factories Act, Section 29, what the competent person with regard to the operator of the moving machinery and all, like the operator of the lifting machinery, lifts, hoists and all. And along with the competent person, they have what is called some rules and responsibility, duties and responsibilities they have to maintain. Coming to this lifting machinery, where lifting machinery lifts, hoists, safety aspects in design, construction, testing, and all. This is the first factor. What the author want to say about this, in the manufacturers designing and construction itself, they have to use all the safety factors taken into consideration. Otherwise, the organizations will not be coming to purchase if the key factors are not there for the lifting device and all, moving machineries and all. That's why the manufacturer stage itself, constructing means manufacturing stage itself, they would take the manufacturers should take the all the key aspects of the safety aspects to consider, include number one, proper design with safety factors, thorough testing procedures, clear signaling systems, regular inspections. For example, proper design means the user-friendly design should be there for the operators or for the organizations to easy understanding of the as per the operating manual and designing factors. Thorough testing procedures, where the testing procedures also will be through the checklist will be there in the operating manual of the manufacturers. Accordingly, we have to thorough testing procedures will be adopted by the organization. Clear signaling system, regular inspections. Signaling system in sense, for example, emergency switch, back on, lightings, and other what is called these facilities given during the construction and designing itself. And they provide the regular inspections also to be provided with inspection checklist by the manufacturers. Appropriate maintenance practices. These are to be done by the organization itself, but the guidance to be provided by the manufacturers, how best we can do the maintenance practices like frequency, a checklist, and other what is called things, lubricating oils, other things, whatever the accessories to be provided available or not available or critical accessories. You have to see all these things in the maintenance practices. where the critical accessories also will be taken into zero stock levels at the stores level. They have to maintain. Department maintenance department suggests the zero stock levels to maintain in the stores itself if the critical items or critical accessories are there. Load capacity limitations also will be taken into consideration because as per the safe workload SW and design allowable load DLL, like this we have to see how much vertical we can extend the load capacities during the operation at the organization levels also. Of course, any design factors plus or minus is there, but minus will not be considered by all organizations. Only plus will be considered. That's why we have to take into consideration of SWL, DLL, all these things will come into coming slides to discuss. It's all important, the operator training is important. Training is not only important, but adherence to the safety regulations to prevent the accidents like load drops and all. While loading, the objective will be hanging. While load test also, you have to see that what is called just 5 to 6 minutes, you have to hang it the load and see that whether the load is taken or not. Any jerking is taken in the machine. All while purchasing, we have to see all the precautions. That's why operator training should adherence to the safety regulations. They have to inform the during training what are the regulations as per the Factories Act, as per the factories rules. You have to see that they have to adherence to the while operating by the driver or the cleaner, whatever may be the things. We can say not cleaner but helper. We can say structural failures also we have to see. Operator injuries also we have to consider the previous experience or in the nearby industries. They have to share the information regarding the injuries. Coming to this operator injuries and equipment malfunctions also will be taken into consideration. Coming to this safety aspects, these are the some designing and constructions we have to see that safety aspect. Apart from this, the other what is called the safety aspects, including design and construction, like this design and construction, ensure equipment is designed to lift the regular required weight. And while purchasing, we have to see all these organized as to see. Specify the safety factor, which is to be ratio of the equipment strength to the weight of the design to lift. We'll be discussing in the coming slides also. What is the safety factor? What is the SWL? What is the DLL and all? And the testing and inspection maintenance, you have to see regular inspection to maintain equipment. Apart from this key aspects, we have to consider the organizational levels also. We have to see that. Ensure the equipment is certified and fit for use. That certificate is there for the while purchasing the equipment. The manufacturer will give the certificate and identification number and all. Due to that certification, we can identify the when it is purchased. History of the equipment will also be known. And they use high quality monitoring and overload protection systems because anyhow we are going to purchase of lakhs of rupees by involving the financial by the organization. While purchasing also we have to see the high quality and where the you can see the company, see the brand company and the high quality monitoring and overload protection systems there or not. Because the equipment, the lifting mechanism itself is the inbuilt system. There are some safety aspects are there. Whether there is inbuilt systems are not there or not, we have to see before purchasing only. Use and care, everybody knows. Ensure that equipment is used in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. As per the manufacturer instruction, what is the load factor? 150 tons. Whether it is taken or not at the manufacturer site itself, you have to take the load test and all these things. No load test, with load test, all these things we have to see whether it is functioning or not. We have to see. Ensure that the equipment is not damaged or needs to repair. Because while purchasing the second hand, you have to see at first hand or what to say that not damaged or needs repair. Ensure the load is balanced seated properly in the hook and all. Because the C hook you have to see whether it properly designed or not. We have to see the at the side, the manufacturer side itself. Ensure the load is moved smoothly and not abruptly. You have to see the while lifting, while transferring, and while holding. All these steps, the load could not be moved abruptly. We can say what is called smoothly handling by the operator will be necessary to longevity of the longevity of the lifting machine. Signaling also very important, like red light, back horns, giving what is called the signals of the side lights and the back reversing light and all these things we have to see. Post operational signals visibly at the top job site so that everyone can communicate with the operator. It's a very important thing before taken into the circuit or before taken into the running into the system. All operators should be visibly explain and communicate with the operator. These are the facilities are there. These are the safety factors are there. But you have to see in that connection that operator should aware of the inbuilt safety factors and all. Safety consideration as per the factors that we have to consider. Ensure the work area is clear of people. Work area should be always surrounded very clear because the harm of the overload crane or the forklift or the what is called this all the lifting machines are having the space occupation, and we have to see that while lifting, while shifting, while what is called moving the objective, we have to see that a clear people is there. The helper is there, will be taken care of. There is a clear coordination between the helper and the operator. Ensure the load is kept close to the body. The manually it is carrying. That's what he is telling. The close to the body means while lifting the vertical hook, C hook will handle is there. That you have to see very close to the body and see that the C hook could be attached. Ensure the load is not dropped by trip over. Ensure the operator qualified and has to update the training. The qualified, because as per the Factories Act, qualifications also informed in the section 29. That is also will be discussed in the coming slides. Ensure the operator is aware of any power lines. That they have to see that the operator should be qualification. You have to see that aware of power lines, because overhead the power lines are there while going to the outside the organization or inside the organization. We have to see that when the power lines are there in the air as well as in the height as well as in the ground cables also we have to see. The operator should know aware of.
ಸರಿ ಅಂತವ ತಿನ್ನೋಣ.
Coming to this safety factor is very important. The safety factor is all safety features only. Safety factor means the ratio of the equipment's strength to the maximum load it can lift. That is, a safety factor 4:1 means the equipment can lift 4 times its maximum load. This is normally every moving machine having the safety factor 4:1. That means, what is the safety factor means? The factor of safety or safety factor SF, we called as designated as SF, is represented as a ratio. For example, then 4:1, 4:1 is ratio. For example, if your equipment needs 2 tons or 2000 kgs lift, it needs to lift, and its safety factor is 4:1. That means the equipment will be designed to up to 8000 kgs, that is 8 times. That means 4 times into 2000 kg, it becomes 8000 kgs or 8 tons. The factor of safety depends on the material and use of the equipment. See, these are the safety factor depends upon the equipment to equipment. Not all the, machines, not all the equipments having the 4:1, depending upon the nature of the material and nature of the equipment, that safety factor will be held. because the safety factor is very, very important while considering the purchasing of the crane or deciding to purchase the crane or to decide the manufacturers what is called at site. Some people are what 3:1, some people are 4:1, some people are what is called 2:1 only because they are not spending much money on that what is called while constructing a design. We have to see very carefully whether this 4:1 is the safe factor. You have to see that some uh, some manufacturers are misleading our organizations also. Some factors having the only 3:1, but they are telling in the operating manual 4:1. Normally, it was happened in one of the industries in which I am working there. I have, it is 3:1, but it is published in the operating manual is 4:1. During the no load test and load test at the manufacturer itself, it really caught because 1000 kg that will be taken 4000 kgs. That means 4 tons. But it will not, it take only what is called this 3 tons only. That means it is a 3 tons only. That means 3:1 only. That's why we are shifting the manufacturer's site and we have changed the company and we have purchased what is called very reputed company. And that we have to see that safety factor is always whether the publisher is one, designing is one. That difference should not be there while taking load test and no load test and all these things. Overload protection is there or not, we have to see. Use the system that monitors the load and prevent the equipment from being overloaded. Because whenever, suppose it is a design for 2 tons, it is up to 8,000 is taken. Sometimes 2.5 tiles, any driver is or operator is taken. Immediately the indication has to come because it is capacity is 2 tons to handle it, but design is 8 tons. But once the monitoring is not there or the indication is not there, driver not known whether the overloaded or not. Normally, the people are thinking that it can be taken as 8 tons. You can go for 3 tons. No, sorry. If you take that also, whenever what is called incidents happen, we don't know. At any time, at any what is called movement, the ceiling chain will be broken and the incidents will occur very drastically. That's why immediately operators should monitor and the uh, guidance will be given by the inbuilt mechanism itself. That we have to facility is there or not in the equipment we have to see while purchasing also. The training is important.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
you
Tell me,
can
sir.
give the example. You can give the example of lift.
Example, matlab, sir. In means, sir.
If that lift having capacity 600 kg, if
Yes,
700 up to 650 is increased, the alarm will occur and the lift cannot be lifted or downward
that's what,
like
sir.
that.
That's what it's saying. Overload protection, we can say.
Ah,
In the,
yes.
in the system itself, the facility is happened. Immediately, the driver or operator should indicate, I am taking the 50, 500 kgs more than, please immediately stop. The crane itself is stop the engine, sir.
Yes, but what about sir in domestic for any bus having capacity near about 60%, but in village areas there is near about in it may be 80 to 70 public inside the bus.
Actually, what happens, sir? It depends upon person to person and the leaders to leaders or the officials to official. It depends upon. One should have an official is representing government. It should have a human values. They have to adherence to the Factories Act rules and all these things. You cannot educate the that official member of organization or official member of the government. That's the only human values only. We cannot teach the. Only we have to ensure that driver is having a knowledge or qualified person are there or not. We have to see whether he has to apply all the safety rules what we are taught to him. That we have to see, sir. We cannot what is called educate all the leaders who are already qualified. Okay, Lakshmi Das
Yeah,
garu.
yeah. Okay, sir.
Because we have to improve the human values only. That's what we cannot educate the
Mhm.
educator. Because the operator is a qualified person, is not qualified or qualified person only up to that limit intermediate like this. That is why your training is more necessary for that. Already government authorities are having qualified persons. They are coming to the up to a level of what is called various officials. We cannot educate them. Simply they are misleading the village people only because they are not aware of the what is the safety factors in that. Okay,
Sir,
sir,
for,
Right,
Lakshmidhar
sir.
garu.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Any
one more
doubts,
doubt.
sir? Anybody?
Sir, overload production only for warning purpose or any mechanically stop the lifting, sir?
Overload purpose is the longevity of the machine and is safe load, and also it will be risk involved is there, sir. In the coming
But
slides also we will be discuss this SWL and DL load also. Tell me, sir. Prasad garu.
uh, yes, sir. Actually, normally in industry, they
Yes,
have
sir.
only EOT cranes is there,
Yes, correct,
but
sir.
there is no overload production. That's why I'm asking.
That is why we have to see while purchasing only our nation has to see that whether the facilities of the safety inbuilt is there or not. That's what I
You
told you. No, we have misleaded by the one of the reputed manufacturers. His load factor is 3 is to 1, but it is established in the operating manual is 4 is to 1. While testing at manufacturer site, it clearly caught it is a 3 is to 1 only. That's why you have to be very careful while purchasing itself whether safety factors is there or not. Okay, sir.
thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
sir. Ensure that operators are trained and up to date, safely processed. These are the very lightly the people taken by the organization. Trained means it should not be having his qualification, but also the inbuilt safety factors is there or not in the machine that fellow has to know. And also there is a clear coordination between the helper and this operator. Clear coordination. And the helper, we have to see that coordinated with the operator. You have to see that any surrounding persons are there. All these things are kept into depends upon these two persons. That's why you have to give simply training is not important, sir. The training with what are the safety regulations as per the factory act that should be in his own understandable language in Telugu or English or Hindi or whatever Urdu and all these things we have to explain to him in such a way we have to having confidence on him that he will be operated in a smooth manner. Otherwise, as a supervisor, as a head of the department, will face lot of consequences if he is not trained properly. And also, apart from the training, the safe locations is also important. When the organization is keeping one place, when it is idle, when it is moving, you have to see the overhead, what is called wires are there, or underground cables are there. We have to see that also. That's why safe locations is also important. Ensure the work area is clear of people. Have spotter. That we called as a spotter means is a helper only. Have a spotter to assist with the lifting. We can simply helper means we can somewhat what is called some dignified matter we called as a not an helper, but recently technocrats are used as a spotter where the in the spot the person is having coordination with the operator. Have a spotter to assist with the lifting because all the time the lifting is hanging in the air itself while shifting from place to another place. We have to be very careful and take the what is called I mean, always look into the spotters signals and all these things. And also the testing and inspection, what is the frequency they have given and what way the checklist is having provided by the manufacturer or not. We have to see that also testing and inspection. Have a competent person visually inspect lifting tackles every 3 months or less. Keep a record inspection. This first one is very important. Have a competent person visuality. We will discuss in the coming slides what is a competent person as per the factory section 29. And also visual inspection of lifting tackles every 3 months or less. We have to see that inspection should be taken after the overhauling of this thing, at least minimum 3 months or minimum what is called less than 3 months. Normally we will take every bi-monthly we'll take the all lifting tackles and all. Once the risk is involved, once the hazard is happened, we have taken reduced the frequency from 2 months to 1 month also. That's the situations we have experienced. So you have to see that depending upon the operator's training, depending upon the incidents recorded in the previous, we have to see that frequency has to be fixed for the lifting tackles and all accessories and all these things. For this, keep a record for inspection. For example, any investigation is required or any history is required, history of the what is called equipment is required. You have to keep a track a record for inspections, because inspections outcomes has to written by the supervisor. Our inspector has to be written the all the outputs of the inspections. As per the inspections output only, they have to take the maintenance, they have to take the frequency reduction, or we have to see the any accessories to be changed or any safety factors to be designed further if any facility is there. Ask the manufacturer, is there any facility is there to adopt or to include the safety factor apart from the uh, um, I mean after purchasing. To see that the record of inspection will be helpful for taking decisions with the manufacturers. If any additional safety load or safety load factor is there, we have to see that it should be adopted. So very, very important area here is safe working load. That means the SWL. Everybody knows that SWL is 1 ton, SWL 2 ton. They are telling about it, but that operator itself is to engineer. As an engineer, we should know about what is the, as a mechanical engineer or operator or what is called the chemical engineers or any we should know, or the engineer should know what is SWL, what is WLL, what is DFL, DEF and all. But at the driver levels, they cannot know the technical language. They have to adapt to it. If you tell, also they will not adapt to what is called, or they are not aware of, or they are not acceptance, or they are not having capability of understanding the things also. But what in their language of regional language or religion language and all, to set that should these three things to be told to the operator also. So of course the spotter cannot know all this because he is only like that. But operator should qualified person as per the factory side. You should know what is this safety work, safe working load and all. The safe working load, SWL we called as, designated as, is the maximum load a piece of equipment can lift under specific conditions. So how much what is called maximum load we can take? We can take what is called, we can take here is maximum load is 8 tons. Here is lifting only 2 tons only we have to allow. So while discussing what is called this thing, very important, calculate SWL by dividing the working load by the design allowable load. This is the one is a safe working load limit, and the design allowable weight. If you want SWL, WL divided by the DAF. DAF means design available load. That's what's called design available is 8 tons. The lifting vertical working allowed is only 2 tons. Like this, we have to SWL can be calculated. Safe working load is calculated by dividing WLL by the DAF. Everybody knows the SWL is always lower than the WL, and the DF is always greater than equal to 1. Everybody knows what we need not what is called. The another thing where the beyond the limits also this is as an engineer but should know the facts of the minimum bearing load also will be MBL we can take. For example, the SWL is the maximum load already load that a piece can lift, safety lift, or is very important. Lifting equipment can safely lift, lower, and suspend. Because while load testing, we have to see that the objective will be kept in air, and we have to see that 5 to 10 minutes whether it can taken or not. We have to see that load test during load test. Wherever the what is called the WL, the working load limit is maximum working load designed by the manufacturer. That's what here is 8 tons. DF means design allowable. What it called. DF is the ratio. DF is the ratio that accounts for uncertainties in materials properties, manufacturer variations, and other factors might affect the actual performance. See, design allowable factor here is 4:1. We are all discussed, but not all the manufacturers are maintaining this ratio. There is cost involvement is there in the while manufacturing itself. 2:1 cost is less, and 1:1 cost is less, and therefore 3:1 more cost. 4:1 is more cost. Normally, the manufacturers will not be interested to keep in the cost expensive. They are misleading the organizers also. But we have to see that while load testing at the manufacturers, whether the safe factories, SF is 4:1, we have to see. That is the maximum. You have to see that. And the explanation already told this. Calculating the SW, how you going to calculate? Calculate the WLL by dividing the minimum bearing load by safety factor. That this is what we call SWL is also calculated. That is minimum bearing calculated by safety factor. Because the manufacturer manual itself is tell that this is the safety factor 4:1. The MBS minimum bearing load will SWL can be calculated. Apart from this also you can calculate this also. So why is it important to know the SWL and WL? That's what very important question is. Is it known? Is it operator should know? Operator may be not knowing, or we cannot explain to him also. But it's important to know the SWL, safe working load, and working load limit to ensure the safety of the equipment and the people using it. Because that paper, the organization as who are using that, is the engineer or the head of the department of the maintenance or the supervisor of the mechanical maintenance, he should know compulsory what is SW and what is WLL also. Suppose if it not known, if the WLL exceeds the SWL, definitely it will be collapsed. So that exceeding the WLL could cause the equipment to fail. WLL should not exceed the what is called SWL. Exceeding the WL could cause the equipment fail, resulting in injury or damage. See, once wherever what is called WL working load limit is more than the what is called safe working load, definitely. Because suppose if we take the here we already discussed 2 tons. Already every time that people are taking 3 tons, 3 tons, 3 tons. So that after some time the warning or wearing of the accessories or wearing of the parts of the machine will be taken care of definitely once upon a time, definitely once in a while it will be collapsed, and this will be very very dangerous, not up to a thinkable matter also. We cannot imagine also the risk is such a way. That's why at least by not by the operator, but as an engineer, we should know the SWL, WLL, DAF, as well as the MBS also, minimum bearing load. That's very, very important for the, at least for mechanical engineer and supervisor who is taking care of in the organization. Last but not least, maintenance, perform regular maintenance and inspections on the equipment. We have to see that what is the frequency of the maintenance we have to see, and we have to adherence to that maintenance, preventive maintenance or shutdown maintenance or breakdown maintenance. You have to see that. Of course, breakdown maintenance we cannot come across once the preventive maintenance is well equipped with the inspection checklist and all these things. We cannot experience any breakdown if the frequency of the preventive maintenance along with the checklist facilities is there. What is the manufacturer checklist facility is there? We have to adopt all the rules as per the manufacturer's advice. These are some the techniques are there. It's already discussed at the manual itself, manual loading. Tighten your stomach, muscles, and all. These are the manual lifting techniques only. We cannot mechanical not necessary, sir. Come to the next slide. There are some safety precautions when using the lifting equipment. The technocrats has given the various precautions to be taken while when using the lifting equipment. One is always check the equipment before you use it. Perform a periodical inspection at maintenance tasks. Number two. Number three is ensure our training is up to date. This all known, but whether we are adherent to this safety precautions or not, we have to see. We have to check ourselves. The weight of the load must be fit to the equipment. Naturally, what is the hook capacity, width, height, and we have to see that hook is handled or not. And use high quality monitoring and overload protection system. High quality in the sense of what is called heavy tons, because more than what is called 5 tons we call as high quality monitoring and overload protection systems. Is there not? We have to see. Because immediately the operator should indicate I am taking the overload, because the engine some of the facilities engine may not stops. That's why the indication has to given by the meter to the operator. Immediately will take the precautions to not to take the overload. At least that indication is necessary rather than the stopping of engines or stopped the by engine itself. Do not attempt to adjust the load manually. Normally, some of the people are what is called because of urgency, because of what is called requirement and all. The head of department advise the operator closely without knowing of the helper. We can see adjust the what is called opening this and adjust the what is called manually. Normally, all organizations are doing like this only. They're adjusting the load manually, because once they adjusting manually, the safety facility provided at the machine itself, automatic is diverted, automatic is bypassed. Once you manually means automatic conditions are bypassed. Normally, every instrument mechanic people are cooperating the mechanical maintenance people like this only. But they are not seeing the consequences what happened. If anything happens, both will be, including the maintenance engineer as well as the instrument engineer. Normally, in our whenever I'm working in some of the industries, I experienced what is called as a process engineer. I experienced many things like this. I objected so many times, but they are telling that you are not purview of this, you're not at all connected to this. Please keep quiet, and we will see the what is called things to be happen. As a process engineer, I cannot simply allow them to do, because the stores material is they have to my site. If anything happens in my site, I'll be held responsible as a supervisor, as an engineer. That's why I keep always the. And, I'm not great enough to tell about, but I have to always